Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So, yeah, my fiance just figured something out, and I had touched on it in my last video. But this Zeppelin "Stairway to Heaven," "Gold Turned to Stone," and Phoenix said Gold and Stone are still there, and maybe they are. And even if they are, Stone wasn't there before, so you would literally have the same thing. Even if they were both there, your O's would still cross off. You'd have gold and stone. That'd be a weird thing. And stone wasn't there, so if you put that together, even if they were both there, I'm telling you, there's something here. My fiance figured it out. We're about 90% certain on this, and since it was her find, it's her thing.
Uh, I don't really know how to explain this, guys. I worked a long day today, and I was kind of just laying here, and we were talking about it, and I was thinking about it, and it kind of just hit me. I'm going, well, the whole Perry Saturn
Stone.
thing, or sorry, Perry Stone thing, and the book with the decode. Okay, so we got the medical, the medical book. Okay, basically talking about what medical psychology or something like that is kind of what we came up with. The highlighted word, which was slipped, which that word was in our decode. I just had made some connections, and so we got in the decode the
Okay.
chemicals.
We're gonna back up 1 second because I know I'm sorry, but
No, it's
I
okay.
just realized something, guys. Um, we're doing Led Zeppelin "Stairway to Heaven," and you had GLDSTNE, Gold Turned to Stone. Okay. Um, so in our previous video, which I'll link, um, after you got your translations, which I'll link, your translations ended up being "Give the money to your stone."
Oh yes.
Okay. And then you also had "Born In," which didn't make any sense, and "Slipped From." All right, now we decoded this in three different categories, guys. We decoded this in the category of the stock market. We decoded it forwards and backwards, by the way, in the stock market,
Yeah.
genetics, and chemicals.
Mhm.
All right, we haven't gone back and done random hits on this one yet, but we did decode or translate everything that could be translated. We had to move the E around like a computer would do. And you wound up with "Give the money to your stone," "Born In," and "Slipped From." All right, in your translations. So I wound up typing "Give the money to your stone" into Google, and it took me to Perry Stone Ministries donation site with a big "give," and you could give with a credit card. It was a thing that you could
Yeah.
do. So don't do it. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm certain we're almost completely certain that this was on purpose. All right, "Stairway to Heaven," but nonetheless. All right. So
Yeah.
you ended up with Perry Stone Ministries donation site, and if you plugged Perry Stone into "Born In," Perry Stone was born in Jay County, Indiana, and he wrote a book uh, documenting medical psychology
Mhm.
or par- something psychology. I don't have the link now, but I'll provide our first video on this.
It was about a gentleman that slipped and
Yeah, he slipped from a flight of stairs, down a flight of stairs. He slipped from. So you got all that
decode alone.
in your translation decode alone. So tonight, my fiance told me to Google something.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if he has any connection to the stock market because, like, our, three categories, we got stock market, genetics, and chemicals, forward and backwards. And So I'm going, I wonder if he has any connections to the stock market. And he goes, well, it didn't come up. And I'm like, well, I wonder if we Google it independently, what'll happen? And so he Googled it independently, and we couldn't find anything with Perry Stone Ministries on the stock market. But as I was thinking about it, I'm going, well, we were talking about how he might have a quantum computer and be manipulating it, and that's kind of how this conversation started. Because, well, the quantum computer would leave a code, and so we're thinking, well, he's probably connected to somebody who has a quantum computer. And then I'm going, wait a second, the book he wrote about medical, we have that in the decode. And so how did that end up happen? How did that end up happening?
We have genetics all over. We have a whole thing of genetics in that decode, and
We were trying to figure out how would if he had a quantum computer, or if he would have connections to somebody with a quantum computer.
right.
And so I'm going, well, wait a second, if he wrote a book, that means he's famous and it's about medical psychology. And so I'm like, we've had tons of medical groups hit on the stock market, so maybe he's connected to a medical group that's being hit on the stock market. And with a little bit farther digging, what did you find?
Um, yeah, he's been talking a lot about the stock market lately,
Yeah.
apparently on Facebook.
Yeah. We'll
Now,
provide these links, you
well,
guys.
we'll provide this link because I can't get into Facebook. But yeah, this is an interesting thing because you got Perry Stone Ministries on Facebook. I think, yeah. And he says China has fudged its numbers and their stock market could experience a 1929 correction. However, they have tons of gold.
Interesting. He's talking about the stock market in the song Gold Turned to Stone.
Right?
Hmm.
And tons of gold they have purchased. So he's talking about gold. He's talking about the stock market. And I find it interesting, and we find it interesting that we're looking at stone and gold right here.
In,
And
yeah.
it's in this Google search. It's the first one, by the way. It says
Yeah.
alert. It has finally occurred. Debt. Dot dot dot. Perry Stone Ministries. It's on Facebook, and if you go down and read the little description, it tells you he's saying China has fudged its numbers and their stock market could experience a 1929 correction. However, they have tons of gold.
Gold.
So you have gold, stone,
Yeah.
stone, gold. So, oh, so, I couldn't even see the
No,
camera,
it's okay. So
but
I just want to make something clear, guys. These connections, all right? So let's put something together. We got Perry Stone, okay, Ministries. In Stairway to Heaven, the actual change was gold turned to stone. All right, we got the stock market that he's talking about, which was in the decode. Stock markets all the way front and back, okay? Medical, we have genetics and chemicals front and back, which ties all together. We have a book that was written about a medical psychology book about a man who had slipped, which, by the way, when we got that brought that book up, you guys, slipped, which was in our decode, the word slipped, was the only word highlighted on these pages. Guys, it was highlighted in yellow. We didn't highlight it. It was already highlighted. So you got the word slipped. You got Perry Stone. You got in Stairway to Heaven, Perry Stone Ministries. You have the medical book. You have the stock market he's talking about. And on just a random Google search, you have gold and stone, both words, which changed in the song
which
Stairway to
changed
Heaven.
into
And all this is in the decodes, you guys. And so I was like, we have to do a video. Like, we have to do a video on this.
right.
And yeah, I mean, we may sound crazy to some people, but you guys, this is way too coincidental to be coincidence. I mean, come on now. Anybody can look at that, even just by this video alone, and say, there's no way that's a coincidence. And if so, that's one hell of a coincidence.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm 90% certain that Perry Stone Ministries probably that you might have your first targeted song. I
Yep.
mean, I'm they may have targeted that song to put that change to code that change into, to subliminally message you to give Perry Stone Ministries money, and at
Yes.
the same time calculate all this stock market
Manipulating stock
genetics
market.
and chemical stuff, because it all
Right.
kind of goes hand in hand now, doesn't it?
Right.
So,
And what a way to cover it up by pretending you're a prophet, right? To get everybody's money? Huh. Imagine that.
and you could make some fairly accurate predictions, probably,
Absolutely.
if you had access to a quantum
Yep.
computer,
And
and some people would think you were a prophet then.
absolutely. And then you'd make the profit from being a prophet, right?
Right, and you're manipulating the stock.
Stock market.
So we're
Mhm.
90% certain on this. I'm 90% certain on
And
this one.
maybe we might just have found who, or a connection to who might be using our first connection. I apologize
Our
to
first
to
connection,
most likely who has a quantum computer that could be doing part of this manipulating and leaving codes in the wake,
or is using one,
or is using
because
one.
they could easily pay a facility that has them
Right.
and go use them for however
Mhm.
long they get, and they could easily code whatever they wanted.
Mhm.
If you were doing that and you were Perry Stone Ministries, you probably would pick Stairway to Heaven, change gold to stone,
Mhm.
or leave them both in there.
Right.
And it especially with them both in there, um, gold, stone, or
Yeah.
stone and gold.
Yeah, and I mean, people with a lot of money, most likely, because I'm going, well, the ministries, maybe he doesn't have a quantum computer, but that was the thought process of what led us to here is, medical. They make a lot of money. I mean, and so that's how this
The book,
connection
right?
happened. The book,
We
he's pretty, famous for that book, right? But
right.
wait, being a medical, yep, that was,
and we'll
there it
put
was.
we'll put the other two Led Zeppelin videos down there. I know that the translation one hasn't got a lot of hits, but it might be our most important one,
Yeah.
because at this point, I'm telling you guys, I'm like 90% certain. I won't call it 100%, but
Yeah.
holy, if this is a coincidence right here, I'm pretty sure we have our first hit and our first connection to who is probably using a quantum computer and why they're using it.
If this is a coincidence, I quit. I'm done.
Right?
I
Right?
retire.
So there's that, and that's pretty important, isn't it? Right? I mean, hopefully that. I mean, there you go.
Yep.
It looks a
That's
lot like Perry Stone or Perry Stone Ministries or Perry Stone himself.
this is why the translations were really important. Something was telling me go back and look at these
Yep.
translations because you're gonna get something, hopefully.
And now we have, and yeah, this is a pretty big one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
guys.
didn't expect that though. I mean, that
Of
was
course we
pretty.
didn't. I mean, we haven't
Ugh.
expected a dang thing. We've got the whole every leg of the way, have we? I think.
No, but this is, I mean, that was wow. That was a lot of information and just
And we'll also provide the Google search we
yeah.
did, Perry Stone Ministries,
Hmm.
and I just typed stock market, and I'm like, all right, she said to check the stock market. So that's what we did, and the first thing that comes up is gold and stone in the same. It's right there in front of your face.
Benefits of partnering with the VOE and Perry Saturn Ministries
Perry
partners.
Stone.
Or, why do I keep saying Perry Saturn?
I don't know, because
Perry
we did a
Stone
video on
Ministries
Perry Saturn.
partner strike force.
Yeah. There's all sorts of
Okay.
stuff here, but it's the first one that's the most interesting to me, Golden Stone. So,
Hmm.
anyway, we're going to let this video go at that, guys, unless you have something else you want to
No,
add.
no.
But let us know what you guys think, and we'll provide our links. We'll provide the link to our last videos, which provide the links to the translations
Hmm.
and all of our finds in those two videos.
Yeah.
So for now, guys, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, subscriptions. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. And
Let us know what you think.
yeah, let us know what you think. Um,
Do you guys think this is a coincidence? I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I'd like to know what you guys think for sure.
yeah, and give the other two videos a watch. And I mean, it seems pretty important to me.
Do some research for yourselves, you guys. I'm mind blown.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to actually do that. Um, but yeah, this could be our very first hit on Who's, and it's a surprising one. I didn't even know there was a Perry Stone Ministries, let alone, you know, think that they'd have a tie to a quantum
uh,
computer.
yeah.
But go figure, those guys do have a lot of money buying private jets and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why
Just.
couldn't they rent a quantum computer, or in
Yeah.
fact own a quantum computer for that matter?
Mhm.
So they certainly could.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, yeah, let us know what you think for sure. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your night.
See you later.